Hey everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here, doing another 8-4 Shadows over Innistrad draft. Thanks everybody for, we opened from under the floorboards again, really. Thanks to everybody for tuning in over the weekend for all of the stream sessions. I appreciate it. Yeah, if you haven't followed me on Twitch, you can find that in a video description, as well as subscribing to me on YouTube if you're not already, and liking this video. It helps visibility of the channel a lot. All right, on to the pick. I'm actually going to do something a lot of you are just going to hate. I was doing it all of yesterday on stream with about 80% success rate out of 5 drafts. So 4 out of 5 drafts went swimmingly. But basically what you do is completely force a deck. You just bully everybody at the table. You don't play ball with draft. You just draft exactly what you want to do. So for example, I'm going to take picks that you guys are not going to like. I can tell you that right now. Stensia Masquerade, very important for the vampire deck. I could first pick this one, but I think just as a demonstration, since Solitary Hunter I don't think is the actual strongest card in this pack, I think it's probably from under the floorboards or Dauntless Cathar, I'm actually going to first pick a Solitary Hunter and just straight up force red-green werewolves. Now, I know what you're thinking, but what if you open other stuff that's better? Yeah, I get it. I'm not going to do that, though. I'm going to take the Neglected Heirloom here over the Fiery Temper, which I do really want, but we're taking Heirloom because we're forcing werewolves. Now, I know it seems ludicrous. It does seem insane. But you can get, there's high risk, high reward to this. Obviously, the high reward is you can get some absurdly strong decks that are in an archetype. And obviously, the risk is you can end up with a completely garbage deck, which did happen to me one of the 5 drafts. But we're going to take Heirloom here. All right, third pick, Hinterland Logger. Wow, it also has Solitary Hunter in here. I'm going to take the Logger because it's a 2-drop. It's actually stronger with our Heirloom. I'd want the Hunter too, obviously. But yeah, we're taking Logger here. So yes, the fact that one of my colors could already be getting cut off is completely irrelevant. I know what you're thinking, insane, right? What's the point of drafting if you're not going to play ball with the draft? I don't know what to tell you. It's crazy, I know. But like, for example, here, Pale Rioter, Murderous Compulsion, these cards are very strong. We're actually going to take the Rush of Adrenaline. I know you're thinking, like, why would you do that? That's not the strongest card. Because I'm forcing red-green werewolves. I'm cutting cards that are actively in my colors and leaving better cards in other colors for the remaining drafters to pick from. Now, if we end up with a Howlpack Resurgence, I ended up with 2 in one of my draft decks last night, and I was super, super happy about that. I've come to the conclusion that Howlpack Resurgence is actually a better card than Always Watching. For a while there, I was calling it Always Watching. Howlpack Resurgence is better. If you need me to go through the reasons, at first it was just a joke, like, haha, right? Of course it's not better. Oh yeah, did I forget to make the cards bigger again? Of course Howlpack Resurgence isn't better, right? It doesn't affect all your creatures. You have to draft wolves and werewolves. How could that possibly be better? I'll explain it to you. It affects token creatures. Oh my god, already getting rewarded. Look at this. Another Logger. Taking it. There was also an Uncaged Fury in there, which would have been nice. Why is it better than Always Watching? It's a combat trick. You can flash it in. That already is insane. We're taking Ember Eye Wolf here, very happily. Passing other good cards in other colors. It's a combat trick. You can flash it in. That also happens to work insanely well with werewolves. Pass the turn, flip my werewolves, flash in a Howlpack Resurgence. Very, very good. Still can use it as a combat trick in that instance. I would argue Trample is actually better than Vigilance, especially with cards like Ember Eye Wolf that suddenly turn into a trampling, hasty, inflatable creature. Here we're going to take Voldaren Duelist, which I admit is not a werewolf, but is actually a very powerful card in red, which we want to cut. Aim High would also be a fine pick there, but I think Voldaren Duelist is quite strong. Ember Eye Wolf number 2, taking it happily. You can go real deep on these Ember Eye Wolves when you pick up Howlpack Resurgence or Moonlight Hunt. Where was I? Oh yeah, explaining why Howlpack Resurgence is better than Always Watching. Wow, wield Stensia Masquerade. All right, taking it. Likely not playing it, but it is playable in here. I could end up playing it. Depends on how aggressive we are. Typically, the werewolf decks range anywhere from aggressive, not hyper-aggressive, but aggressive to mid-rangey and solid, which is why I believe the Werewolf deck is the best deck in the format. So yes, always watching can affect more creatures, I get it, but also keep in mind trample with creatures that transform into huge things is very good. Granted, there is a little bit of overlap, right? Because you've got like Hinterland Logger that already has trample. You have, I believe, the Silverfur Partisan, which has trample as well. But I'm telling you guys, this new kick in this format for me is forcing an archetype. Now, I did, if you watch the stream, I created a notepad list of all of the archetypes in this format, and my list of the ones that I actually like to play, and which ones I basically begrudgingly play. I'll share that again at some point, I'm sure. Alright, we can take Chasm here. Can end games, right? Dual Shot is actually a pretty excellent pickup this late. I mean, might be on Reason would be playable here, but I'm pretty happily taking the Dual Shot. Even if I don't end up main decking it, which I typically don't, I've found Dual Shot to be a remarkably good sideboard card. We're going to take Root out here. Continuing to cut our colors, we're actually going to pass pieces of the puzzle and Shamble back. Just indicating as much as we possibly can that we are taking red and green spells. Now, look, we only ended up getting 3 green spells, which means we're obviously competing for green. I don't care. I'm going to keep taking green cards. I'm going to take the Equestrian Skill. I'm not going to play it. We are going to take it, though. It is actually playable in here, I guess, if we had to play it, since we at least have some humans on the front side. But we're actually off to a good start. Now, if we open like a Howlpack Resurgence, if we look, always watching, right? There you go. The strictly worse than Howlpack Resurgence. I know, I can't wait to read replies on that one. We're going to take the Quilled Wolf here. And granted, I'm joking a little bit when I say strictly worse, but I am being serious when I say Howlpack Resurgence is like basically an uncommon always watching. It really is that good. Not even like, not joking about that. That's just straight up not a joke. Okay, so we have Reduce to Ashes, Confront the Unknown, Intrepid Provisioner. All of these are okay. I don't have any removal yet, so I'm pretty tempted to just take the Reduce to Ashes. It can be a hard out to some important creatures. Usually I would probably take the Confront the Unknown instead, but considering we actually have 0 pieces of removal, I guess Dual Shot, I want something that at least kills things. So I'm going to take the Reduced to Ashes here. All right, the payoff continues. Taking the Solitary Hunter number 2 here pretty happily. Be nice to wheel some of these Thornhide Wolves, but if we can't, no big deal. Hey, Duskwatch Recruiter. Look at that. What was this, 4th pick Duskwatch Recruiter? It was, right? What, 1st pick Quilled Wolf. 2nd pick Reduce, 3rd pick Hunter, 4th pick Recruiter. We are absolutely bullying our way into this deck. Exactly as expected. All right, there's Gloom Widow. We're going to take our Arsonist here. We want all the flip cards here for the, not only the Neglected Heirloom, but we are still holding out hope. We're going to find that Howlpack Resurgence. And once we find the Howlpack Resurgence, this deck gets busted. I don't know if you noticed our wolf and werewolf creature count, but it's nearing 100% besides this duelist. So here we can take Skin Invasion. You know, I haven't been giving this card a chance. But it doesn't work with Neglected Heirloom. Sadly. But otherwise I take Wicker Witch, which I don't need. And maybe I'll just finally give Skin Invasion a chance. We actually don't, well, we have a couple Solitary Hunters, I guess, in a Arsonist. Alright, I'll cut red at the very least. I don't need a Loam Dryad, and I'm not going to hate anything there. Remember, we're actually close to a deck already, and we're off to a great start, I would say. Still very much holding out hope that we find Howlpack Resurgence at some point, or a Moonlight Hunt, both of which are just insane for this deck. Okay, Murderer's Axe, which isn't really what we're looking for. Neither is a Neonate, but we're going to take the Neonate. It is a vampire, I guess, for Styncia Masquerade if we have to do that in a pinch. I'm hoping we don't, but I do want to continue to cut green and red and just really make that color as off limits as possible here. We're going to take Chasm, number 2. We're not going to play it, but we are going to take it. Just very much indicating as much as we possibly can. These are the colors we are playing. All right, Thornhide Wolves, nice pickup. Dire Swine, taking it. Not going to hate the sleep paralysis. I guess we can take the Devil here. I don't think we're going to play it, but it's actually pretty playable with Styncia Masquerade. So we're going to be able to make a deck. That's good news. This deck could use some removal. We're going to let people have Deny Existence and Ethereal Guidance because, remember, we're not playing those colors. Instead of hate picking, I'm going to deliberately take all of the red and green cards I can to really just make it as inaccessible for other people as possible. We're not taking their draft cues to us. Instead, we're just basically strong-arming our way into this. Like, we're going to take a third logger here, which is right up this deck's alley. Over Career, over Blood Mat, over Inexorable Blob. Not that we could get Delirium. Over Briarbridge Patrol. A lot of good green cards in here, but logger is pretty much right exactly what we're looking for. All right. So now what do we have? We've got Mad Prophet, which we might just take. Explosive Apparatus is actually a pretty playable card in a deck like this that has a bunch of 2-drops that you can flip. But I'm just going to start taking stuff out that I would prefer to not main deck. And then we can come back to it if we have to. Even the Masquerade, I don't think. No 3-drops yet, which is pretty strange. Yeah, so we're going to take Mad Prophet here, which is just a good card. Okay, Village Messenger, nice pickup for us. Village Messenger, turn 1, turn 2, Neglected Heirloom equip. You've got yourself some pretty quick ways to flip dudes. Our curve is very strange, I admit, but when you have this many 1 and 2 drops, it doesn't really matter that much if you miss on 3, because that just means you're going to play a 2-drop on 3 and be fine anyway. Alright, well, we're going to take a Flameblade Angel. It's not exactly what the Werewolf deck is looking for, but it's so strong on its own that it doesn't really matter. So, it's a good way to put people away. Here we go, Gaia Reach Bandit. Obviously, very good for our deck with all of these. And our first 3-drop to boot. So, still have a chance. Holding out hope we get a Howlpack Resurgence, since this deck really gets busted from it. We're going to take the second Reduce to Ashes and play it. Passing Sinister Concoction, which is fine. So we are very removal light, but I think that's still okay. Convicted Killer, taking it. Could take the Uncaged Fury, I guess. But yeah, Uncaged Fury is pretty good. We do have the Tramplers, which it's going to work really well with. I don't like passing the Killer, but we're kind of good on creatures already. I'm actually going to take the Fury. We need some combat tricks since we're so removal light. Pyrehound's not looking like a super attractive pick here, but neither is Dissension in the ranks. I guess we can take a Pyrehound. It's probably... well, Byway Courier is a very good wheel. I think we can pretty easily play that over the... Well, what's the worst card in our deck? It's probably the Pyrehound. I think everything else looks good. We'll take the Byway Courier. Which is actually a nice pickup. So we did not get rewarded with Howlpack Resurgence or Moonlight Hunt, but I still think this deck looks very good. Do I have any way to Madness that? I don't think so, right? Mad Prophet, I guess. Maybe just take the Stoic Builder. I'm not going to play either of them, so it probably does not matter. So I'm thinking play 17 lands. I could get away with 16, but I don't really have a compelling reason to go 16. I don't really like Styncia Masquerade in this deck too much. I don't really like Styncia Masquerade outside of the Vampire decks. I know I've had... Clipwing's a nice sideboard pickup. I know I've had arguments with commenters about that. I really do not think it's a very good card outside of Vampires. And even though you could argue... There's an argument for it to be played here, I'm just not going to. I don't really care about the mill deck, actually. Maybe Survive the Night. I can probably beat up an Inquisitor's Ox. But Survive the Night can be annoying, for sure. Alright, so we did not get Howlback Resurgence. We did not get Moonlight Hunt, unfortunately. But we did end up with a very good 23-card deck here. Forced from the first pick, which was Solitary Hunter, right? So, like I said, there's really not a super compelling reason to go 16 lands here, from what I see. Like, what would our 24th card be? It'd probably be Dual Shot, a Skin Invasion, Styncia Masquerade, Hulking Devil, or a Neonate. Any of these 5 cards, none of them seem worthy of going down to 16 lands for. So I think we're just going to run it like this. Obviously a removal light deck, like I said, but I think Chasm is going to go far for us. I think Neglected Heirloom does a lot with 4 2-drop guys that flip. I think Rush of Adrenaline is going to work well. Uncaged Fury, you can double those up and do some insane things. We certainly have enough guys to flip, which is cool for Gyre Reach Bandit as well. And the Duelist. We've got a couple of Reduced Ashes, which I think are fine. They're going to be fine removal spells for us. Hopefully get us out of some sticky situations. Yes, I like this deck. It was forced from pick 1. And basically the only synergistic reward card we got was Neglected Heirloom. You could argue the Gyre Reach Bandit with all of our flip cards is definitely some rewards as well. But not quite as exciting as a Howlpack Resurgence or a Moonlight Hunt. Howlpack Resurgence is really the important one that you want to get. But all in all, still pretty cool deck. Since I think Werewolves, like I said, is the best deck in the format. I like it. I think it looks good. We'll see how it plays, though. This is an 8-4. These are cutthroat, as you well know. So we did not get any fixing. I think we're going to do a 9-8 split. Green, or red to green, rather. 9-8 seems fine to me. We definitely want that green on turn 2. It's very important. So, yes, I would rate this deck high C territory, maybe even low B. Why don't we just put it at 80% and call it a deck? I think it might even, it's probably more like a 77, 78% because our removal is pretty lackluster. But our creatures are very good. We've got some cool synergies. We look like we can put some damage down, so I like it. Running it like this, we'll see you round 1.